Hey there, fellow classic comic collectors. As always, I'm Scott Harris King, and today I'm back with another video where I'm showing off one of Marvel's classic calendars. It's the 1977 Marvel Comics Memory Album calendar. Now, if you hear me breathing a little heavier than normal, that's because I currently have the COVID. And don't worry, you can't get it through YouTube, but yes, you may or may not have noticed a little bit of huffing and puffing in some of the haul videos that I've been posting recently. I recorded all of those the first day I had the COVID symptoms. I hadn't tested positive yet. Didn't realize I had it when I was recording those. Luckily, I got them all recorded before the symptoms really hit. So I'm still under the weather, still struggling through it, but I'm recovered enough to try and do another video here tonight. And I wanted to show off another one of these Marvel calendars. Now, the 1977 calendar has a really cool sort of conceit to it, which is that it's showing key moments from Marvel history, right? That's where the memory album part comes in. But what's cool is they're being reinterpreted by the current artists. So some of them are really cool. Some of them are better than the originals. Maybe some of them aren't. Um, so why don't we jump right in here? We're going to start off with January 1977, the frankly fabulous FF's first battle with the Skrulls, slightly revamped with costumes added from Fantastic Four number 2. So yeah, of course, in Fantastic Four number 2, in the actual comic, Fantastic Four did not yet have any costumes. They didn't get their costumes until issue 3. But here's the scene being reinterpreted by Kirby with inks from Sinnott, from Joe Sinnott, the classic Fantastic Four art team. So that's really cool. Of course, to be honest, in that image, I think that the all of the images in this have sort of like a slick kind of like coloring going on to try and make them look almost more realistic or three-dimensional, and I think it actually detracts from the Kirby art personally. There's a couple. He's got another one in here that I don't think is his best because of that, because of the way it's colored. Here we have February, which is Hulk themed month. Clash of Titans. The Hulk tackles the Submariner. Tales to Astonish number 100. Now each month has a different character theme. I do find some of the choices to be a little bit weird. I'm not sure why they picked Fantastic Four number 2 out of all of the things to do. This is a classic, but again, of all the Hulk stories, why this one in particular, I don't know. But there's a cool reinterpretation of that fight. Drawings not signed. And I mean, it looks like Sal Buscema to me, but Hulk kind of always looks like Sal Buscema to me. So I don't know. Um, I'm far from an expert on the Hulk, as you all know. Here's the Kirby Captain America scenes from the awesome origin of Captain America, as retold in Tales of Suspense number 63. Now, here's some cool Kirby art. Love to see anytime he's doing the old triangle shield. Some classic skinny Steve. But you can see some of the coloring choices in the skin tones and the faces and stuff. And I don't know. I just don't think it's that great the way that they've colored it. The art's great. The Kirby art's fantastic. But it's just not my favorite. So that was March, Captain America month. April. This is a really cool one. I'm not a Daredevil fan either, but here's the really cool. It's the Battle at the Gym, slightly revamped from Daredevil number 1. Yes, quite revamped. You can see they've again changed the costume. They have him back here mid-flip with the original costume on, but here's the costume that didn't debut, I think, until, I don't remember, issue 6 or 7. But Gil Kane doing a really cool reinterpretation of Daredevil number 1. I'm a big Kane fan. I like Gil Kane a lot more than I like Daredevil. So that's a really cool one. As always, every month also has things like birthdays. So here's Gil Kane's birthday, April 5. You can see that there's a little caricature of Gil Kane, probably drawn by Maurice Severin, I'm guessing. We got birthdays for Saul Brodsky, George Tuska. May is Thor month, the trial of the gods, Thor and Loki from Journey into Mystery 116, except this time around, instead of Kirby, it's being drawn by John Buscema. Again, you see some of the coloring, the more sort of 3D, like painterly, I don't know, makes everyone look a little bit ruddy. I prefer just the flat classic coloring, just me, but really cool Thor versus Loki face-off image from John Buscema. It's really cool to see some of these classic artists, these great artists, reinterpret classic scenes from Marvel's history. There's one in particular coming up that I absolutely love. Here's Luke Cage. It's Ron Wilson with Joe Sinnott. Call him Hero for Hire, either way, or Power Man, either way, he's great. Issue number 1 is basically the images from the cover being redone by Ron Wilson. July, this is great. Doctor Strange's first appearance. Doctor Strange first encounter with a man called Nightmare. But as much as I love Ditko, here it is being reinterpreted by Gene Colan. How cool is that? Huh? Really one of the great and underrated, I think, Doctor Strange artists. I don't think he got the best scripts to work with, but his Doctor Strange art is great. Okay, here's from Amazing Fantasy 15. It's when Spider-Man learns, there's a very long blurb here, but it's when he discovers that he was responsible for Uncle Ben's death. We even have the little thought balloon up here. Now, I puzzled over this for a while, but I think this is actually Gil Kane. We're not looking up the guy's nose, so it's a little hard to be sure. But it looks at least like Gil Kane inking, and I know he did work on Spider-Man around this time period a little bit earlier. So I'm not really sure. It doesn't look like Kane in terms of the positioning or anything like that, but the inking definitely looks like Gil Kane to me. Like if you look at Spider-Man's arm here, like the way it's inked here, the way it's inked on the legs, but like here, this part in particular here, it's very Gil Kane, so I'm not 100% sure on that one. It's not signed. Alright, here's the one I was talking about that I love. September, it's Avengers month. The Avengers first clash with Kang the Conqueror from Avengers number 8, only now it's being redrawn by George Perez and Joe Sinnott. How cool is this? George Perez on Avengers number 8. So, I'm a big fan of that. Obviously, Kang's my favorite supervillain. Okay. Here's another for October. This is a Tomb of Dracula, so we got another great picture by Gene Colan. The Slaying of the Vampire, the Lord of Undead beset by his greatest foes from Tomb of Dracula 13. Including Blade, all the rest of the cast. So cool. Gene Colan, just an absolute master. November is a Conan Carnival, it tells us. Conan and Red Sonja battle the Cimmerian's most fearsome foes from Conan number 44. This is John Buscema, but inked by P. Craig Russell. Classic Buscema, Conan, and Red Sonja there. You know, Frank Thorne does sort of the classic Red Sonja, but I do appreciate Buscema's because she looks strong. Stronger than the Frank Thorne version. And finally, December, it's the Defenders defy Omegatron from their first appearance, Marvel Feature #1. Looks like a Sal Buscema joint to me. I like the Defenders fine, even though I'm not a fan of Hulk. Probably the least interesting image in this calendar is the last one for December. And then we have there's another 2-page spread at the back. I can't seem to get this. It's got a bunch of birthdays for a bunch of people working for Marvel that they didn't list. Apparently weren't important enough to put in the actual calendar. And then there's trivia questions in the calendar, and there's a key at the back with all the answers. And then finally, the back cover is actually really cool. It shows the comics that some of these were taken from, but it's a bunch of their first appearances and first issues. So that's really neat, actually. You can see we got first Thor, we got first Defenders, Spider-Man #1, Fantastic Four #1, Hero for Hire #1, Howard the Duck #1, which was, this is some 77, so that was very recent still. Avengers #1, Conan #1, Hulk #1. So that's it. That's the 1977 calendar. Really cool. I've had the Luke Cage image on display for quite a while, but I'm going to switch it to this cool Kang picture instead when I put it back up. So that's it, the 1977 calendar. Next time around, we'll be doing 1978. And 1978, I think, is all Spider-Man. Yes, the 1978 calendar, it's all Spider-Man, but what's really cool about it, and about even the 79 calendar, which is the Hulk, which I don't care for that much, and the 80, the Doctor Strange, is seeing a bunch of artists that don't normally do Spider-Man work on Spider-Man. For instance, quick tease, not showing it right now, but the month that I always have showing here on display in my office is Paul Gulacy doing all of Spider-Man's villains. And it's so cool because you just don't think of that guy as having anything to do with Spider-Man. But that's what we have to look forward to in the next one. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.